The house of a tailor was never silent. There was always the whisper of fabric, the sharp snip of scissors, the hum of a needle pulled through cloth. In Trois-Rivières, François Lemaître's hands were his livelihood, and Judith quickly learned that her husband's trade meant their home was filled with scraps of wool, half-finished garments, and the customers who came knocking for his skill. Judith adapted. She spun thread, kept accounts, and minded the children while François stitched. Their first son, Pierre, was born in 1655. She cradled him against her breast, marveling that in this wild land so far from Saint-Jean d'Angély, she could bring forth life. Soon came François in 1656, and Louise in 1657. Each child filled her with joy and dread in equal measure, for in New France, infant graves were dug as often as cradles were rocked. Judith knew this bitter truth firsthand. Little Noel, her fourth child, lived scarcely long enough to be baptized before death claimed him. Another infant, Marguerite, slipped away before she could walk. Judith wept, but she did not yield. She buried her children, then turned her hands back to the living, for there were mouths yet to feed, tasks yet to be done. In 1661 she bore Jean-Baptiste, a sturdy child who clung fiercely to life, then Marie Marguerite in 1664, her laughter like music in a home too often filled with mourning. But even as Judith nurtured, life pressed in with hardship. François' work provided, but debts lingered. A tailor might make coats for the governor himself, but payment came late, and the cost of flour, of tools, of thread, gnawed at their earnings. Judith learned to stretch what little they had, trading with neighbors, keeping hens, gathering roots and herbs from the edges of the forest. Still, there were moments of warmth. Judith remembered evenings when François would set down his needle, lift little Pierre onto his knee, and tell tales of Picardy, of wide fields and summer fairs. She remembered the scent of wood smoke, the laughter of her children, the closeness of a family built from nothing. But the wheel of fortune turned swiftly. In January 1666, tragedy struck again. François, once strong and sure-handed, sickened and died. He left behind Judith, not yet 33, and 6 living children, the youngest barely born. Widowhood fell on her like a storm. She was now a woman alone in a colony that did not forgive weakness. A widow could lose property, be stripped of protection, see her children scattered. Judith faced creditors, neighbors whispering of unpaid debts, and the cold bite of a Quebec winter.